Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And my name is Amanda, also known as Dramatic Mandy.
And today is Sunday, October 7th, I believe, 2018. This is episode 317. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back for one more episode. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoy today's show. We got a lot to show. And hopefully you'll come back in the future. So, let's move into what's been going on in our lives for the past couple of weeks. I have been doing a lot of traveling. I was gone for almost a week. Andy and I traveled to Northern Michigan for the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool Festival last weekend, which was a good time. We got to see a lot of people that have purchased from us before and a couple of viewers. So if you stopped by, thank you so much for chit-chatting with us. It was a little bit of a slower show, which I knew from last year, so we haven't made a decision on whether we'll be returning in 2019, but if when that decision is made, we'll let you know. But then, instead of heading straight back home on Sunday, we stayed Sunday night, and on Monday we traveled down to Charlotte, Michigan. I was saying Charlotte, and it is wrong. I was told by many people, so thank you to those of you who corrected us. Charlotte, Michigan is a cute little town, and it has a wonderful yarn store there, the Yarn Garden, and Lindsay is the owner there, and it is a beautifully curated shop, and she runs with a theme with the best of them. She has little nooks and crannies that are very much along garden themes, and so we set up in her shop for a trunk show on Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday was the trunk show. We were there all day from noon until 8, and then tore down, and we were going to drive only a couple of hours to Andy's mom's house and stay Tuesday night there, and Andy was just ready to get home, and so we drove the whole 5 hours home and made it home a little after 1 in the morning. And I gotta tell you, Andy is a godsend. He drove the entire trip. That was about over 16 hours of driving. And I got a lot of knitting done, which I'll show you. So that was nice of him to do, and good for me to get a lot of projects off the needles. So so then we've been working hard, and a lot of dyeing's been going on and rescanning on this one's end as we're prepping for some major shows. We're going to be doing some long distance traveling this month and 3 major shows. And then yesterday, Amanda and I were having lunch. The 3 of us, Mandy, Andy, and myself, we went out and saw a movie and had dinner. We had some Indian food on Friday night, which was delish, if I do say so myself. But we had the leftovers for lunch yesterday, and we had some rainstorms go through, a couple quick ones. And as we're having lunch, a big, windy, really quick rainstorm came through, and about half of my 130-year-old humongous tree in my backyard decided to collapse, and we were really lucky, but pretty much collapsed right in front of us as we were having lunch. And from the top down, it took out about a half. I'm looking out the window because I can see it right here. It took out about half of the actual, I don't know what you call the top of a tree, and it hit a lot of larger limbs on the way down, which luckily deflected it from falling into the back of the house, directly onto the house. So it actually angled away, and it clipped just the corner of the roof, like just the corner, but it did pretty much demolish a part of a section of gutter and downspout, and completely landed on a section of our back fronts. So we have half of a tree laying from the limb onto our fence. So that's exciting. Hopefully we're getting that cleaned up either tomorrow or Tuesday, and most likely we are going to get the whole tree taken down. It's something we wanted to do. Now most of you are probably going, well, thankfully you have homeowners insurance. We do. But unfortunately, I did not really know anything about policies when I purchased the home, and I just trusted my former insurance provider to pretty much set me up with what they thought I needed. And I have a really bad homeowner's policy where basically I have to pay 5% of what it would cost to rebuild the home as my deductible. So it's not a $500 or a $1,000 deductible. My home is really, really cheap. I'm not going to lie. It's a 130-year-old house, hence why we think the tree is 130 years old. But according to insurance, it's what it costs to rebuild the house from the ground up with all of the contents inside the house. So yeah. Basically, we're responsible for almost $15,000 before anything will kick in. So at that point, we're pretty much just going to have to get everything fixed on our own. Yeah, the quote for the tree itself to take it all down is and removed and ground the stump is like $7,000. It's a humongous tree. But hence why the name of this episode is Timber, because yeah,
Like
literally.
the Kesha song?
Well, yeah, maybe. Or like, when a tree goes down
So,
right in front of your eyes.
if a tree falls down in the forest, does it still make a sound?
Well, we heard it. Luckily, it did not go through my window either. There's a portion of it against our kitchen window. So, all things said, we were really, really lucky. I posted pictures to Instagram if you're interested. I was kind of having a moment yesterday. But it is what it is. And I've been wanting like one of those nice white acrylic privacy fences since we moved in and resided the house. So we might be looking and getting estimates for that. Even though the one section of the fence that's now demolished is like the smallest section of our backyard.
The fence is literally just like...
It's like crumpled in the middle and then pulled away from where it met the house. And it's a chain link fence. I mean, it's nothing. But all things considered, it could have gone the other way and landed on the car or the garage or taken out of like a chunk of our kitchen, and then we would be at a standstill on dying yarn, and we were really lucky. So, but it's just a kerfuffle. That's pretty much as far as I know what's been going on in my life. Nothing really else I can think of. So, how's your life been?
All right. I actually have done a few things besides hang out here with the pups, which is the best. But was it last week? Yeah, last weekend was. Is it Apple and Pork or Pork and Apple?
Apple and Pork.
Apple and Pork festival that's in this town that.
If you're a long-time viewer, I usually talk about it. This is the first time we've not been able to go at all because we were out of town. But it's a pretty big deal here in our small town.
Yeah, it's actually annoying. So, I'm used to traffic and all that, but, like, being here, there's never anything, and that weekend was obnoxious with how many people were around. But, I actually went out both days pretty briefly with my mom. And I'm just super excited because I got some Elvis stuff. If you don't know,
Huge Elvis fan and collector.
Kind of obsessed. I fell in love when I was 4 years old, and I think I started actually collecting stuff when I was about 7. But this one guy, he had like one of those like glass cases that you can like lock up so people don't steal your stuff. Mm-hmm. I saw, because I can spot out Elvis from a mile away. I just have a thing for it. So I saw Elvis, so I freaked out. Go over there, right? They're like a collectible bubblegum cards or something. That's what it says. It has like a piece of bubblegum in it. I don't know. I guess it's like a thing from back in the day. But they're from 1978. And I got crazy excited. And he had $8. He had like 4 or 5 of them. He had $8 on it. And I was like, can I have it for $5? And he was like, have 2 for $5. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm not
Don't have to tell me twice.
Right. He's like, yeah, they're probably worth money, just blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. That's how our mom, she's always telling me, like, your Elvis collection's worth so much money. Like, when you go to sell that, you're gonna... I'm like, I'm never selling my Elvis stuff. I want to be varied with it. But, so that was super exciting. And then he was like, oh, I have a calendar. And I was like, oh, I have a lot of calendars. He's like, no, this is from 1978. And I was like, well, that's cool because it's from a long time ago. But he pulls it out, and this thing is 3 feet long. It's insane. And I was like, instantly, like, my eyes got wide, and I was like, I have to have it. He was like, $3. And I was like, okay. And it's actually really cool. So 1978 was the year after he died, and on the calendar, the days itself, it has little fun facts of like something that happened on that day in previous times of his life, whatever. So it's actually really cool, fun to look at. But so that was exciting. I got those last weekend. Besides that, not too much. Got to hang out with this one and Andy this week a little bit, and yesterday I went out with friends that I haven't seen in over a month, so that was fun. Drank a little too much, but besides that, not too much.
Yeah, we're having a family dinner tonight, so that'll be good. We had a big ham in the freezer, so we invited the fam over. And...
Oh yeah, I brought dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta get the ball rolling so we can get this all recorded before it's time to eat some grub. Alright, so let's move into the knitting. What's taking a bow this episode? Well, I've got a lot. But the first thing I'm wearing, I finished my Rhinebeck sweater. I finished The Brownstone by Jared Flood using Leading Men Fiber Arts Box Office, which is our worsted weight, in the Independent Will colorway, which is one of our massaged speckles. And I did alternate skeins throughout, and I forgot and just added my jewel closure. I ended up only needing really one, I think. But I think it's a nice accent with the sweater. I did this right before we recorded. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I bought one of those. But I am so happy with this. I wore this on Sunday of last weekend at the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool Festival, and probably my favorite sweater I've ever knit. Probably my favorite knit. It was really enjoyable. So I'm going to try to stand up. We'll see what you can see, because I know the ratio gets different, but you can see here the shawl collar. There's shaping that's done with short rows. I'm really, really happy with it. So... It does come just past my belt line. It does have short rows in the back so that it comes longer down the rear, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out great. I can't wait to showcase it around Rhinebeck. We'll see how hot India Untangled is. My whole point was to wear this during India Untangled, but I have a feeling with as many bodies going through that room, it might be a little warm for me. But I'm hoping the weather's cool enough on Saturday of Rhinebeck, because I'm definitely going to wear it on Rhinebeck. And if you see me wearing it on both days, yeah, I'll wash it when I get home. Don't be talking to me about how I'm stanky, okay? But I'm super excited. So I love the shawl collar. I need some ventilation, and while I do love a good cardigan, I feel like this was a good compromise, and I could definitely see myself knitting another one if I wanted, if I didn't have a ton of sweater patterns in my queue. But super happy. This was knit on a size, I believe, 6 through 8, which is a 4 to 5 millimeter needle. Yep. Okay. The next thing I finished was my Circumvolute hat by Hunter Hammerson using Spun Right Round Squishy DK in the Bug Jar colorway. And there are 2 versions of this hat in the pattern. Excuse me. This is version A, and I hear thunder rolling through. I'm like, I don't need another storm. I don't need the whole limb coming down. Just want the tree gone. So this used almost a full skein, not quite, but more than normal. And I'm really happy with it. I haven't tried it on. It does have a kind of rapid decrease, but it continues that swirl going on up there, and... yeah, I don't know. I might keep it. I might donate it. I might gift it to a friend who really wants one. So, in this color. So, yeah. But yeah, so I finished that on the road the first night on our trip. I finished a lot of things on the road, but I really enjoyed that. This is on a size 4 US, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. And I lie, I actually think it's a 6, which is a 4 millimeter. I just have never changed the show notes since the first episode, but... look at me using some of my Zombie Apocalypse stash acquisition from June this year already. Then that night, while hanging out with Andy and his mom and chit-chatting, I finished some socks. This is my Pop the Cork socks, which is out of Regia 4-ply Opal, not Regia, in color number 9286, which translates to Pop the Cork. They do not match exactly, but I think they came out pretty cool. These are going to be socks for Andy's dad for Christmas, who we did get to see for a few minutes. on our trip because we did stop at his and stayed at his mom's on Thursday night last week. And I knit this on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. I did a 2x2 ribbing for 15 rounds at the top. I did 80 rounds straight down the leg. I did a slip stitch heel flap and heel turn, and then I did 80 rounds down the foot and did a rounded toe at the bottom. So that was my pattern for this. Super happy with these. My sock blockers are from Perfectly Catchy, P-U-R-R, Perfectly Catchy. You can catch them at the Stitches shows. And so, yeah, I'm really happy with these as well. And that was some more stash out of the stash itself. And then last but not least, yeah, there were 4 major projects. I finished another shop sample. This is Cloudless by Suvi Samola. She is a wonderful designer based out of Finland, and she is also the designer of the Ground Pepper, which we sell kits for and are very popular. But this is kind of a lightweight summer top, sleeveless, and here it is. And I'm really happy with it. Now, yeah, you can glaringly see my mistaken row, but I don't care. But I really am happy with the look, and I blocked it out, and I told Mandy I'm going to have to start making samples in her size so that she can model them, like at shows or at my, when I take pictures. But I do need to get some modeled photos of this before I put it in the bin of samples. I did get some patterns from Suvi this morning, actually. So I knit this. She recommends our Show Stealer base, which is our merino cashmere nylon for this pattern. However, I wanted to use our Monologue, which is our single ply superwash merino silk and yak, because this is the second medium, and I got this all done with less than a skein of each color. Because Monologue is 120 grams and you get 523 yards in each skein, so it's a little bit of a padded skein. And it's an unfinished kind of rolled in sleeve here, which is nice. But I really like, and I've done it before, but I really liked this folded hem. So it looks like basic stockinette, but notice it's not rolling. And that's because you then do the contrast color on the inside, and you do like a purl roll where you're going to fold it, and it gives it a nice fold line, and then you knit on a smaller needle to kind of cinch it in a few more rows, and then you actually seam it, you just whip stitch it to the top line of the contrasting color. So it's one color on the outside and the other color on the inside. So I saw you looking at that.
Yeah, I was like wondering, I was like, is it just one row on the, yeah.
Yeah, so
Looks cool.
Andy was watching me do this because I did this on the morning of the trunk show in Michigan. I seamed the folded hem. I had finished the knitting. And Andy's like, why would you knit all that much more just to hide it up there? And I'm like, well, it gives the kind of seamless look of stockinette all the way to the bottom, but it doesn't roll because stockinette likes to roll.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, that's interesting. And I enjoyed that. I thought it was really cleverly done. The pattern's super simple. And I'm excited to start showcasing this in our booth here in a few shows. So, and that was knit using, again, our Monologue base in the Head in the Clouds, that's the lighter color, and Raspberry Parfait on a size 4 for the majority of the body, and then you use a 3 for that folded hem, which is a 3.5 and a 3.25 millimeter needles. So I finished 4 objects in the last 2 weeks, and all my new cast-ons are rather small, so, and I decreased the amount of things I have on the needles, so hopefully I have some more stuff in a couple of weeks. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Do you have anything finished?
No, I'm not crazy like you.
But we're going to block your Lamina wrap here soon.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I kind of had to show it off a little bit yesterday.
You need to, if you didn't bring it today, you need to bring it tomorrow. And then
I do. I have it.
Okay, we'll leave it here and then we'll soak it tomorrow morning and lay it out up here. Okay? Alright, and we will have kits for that in Mandy's colors. She actually is getting to name the color pack of the 6 mini skeins, and we're going to kit up the same exact colors since it's going to be touring with us here in the fall and early spring of next year. Alright, let's move on to what's performing. Do you want to go first since I've been talking? You want to talk about what you've been knitting? Because you have been going gangbusters on your knitting.
Well, so I've talked about it a few times before. It's called the Color Block Bias Wrap by Susan Shaw. It's the project that I don't think I've ever had something where I was excited about the Lumina wrap, but this one I just have always known I've wanted it. And he gifted it to me on my birthday this year, and I finally got to start it I think I started it last Friday. And I've gotten some progress. If I can.
You're over halfway done with it.
Yes, I am on, because it takes 6 skeins of the Chalet something. I've got to here. Hang on. Yeah, the Mountaintop by Classic Elite Yarns Chalet. It's 70% baby alpaca and 30% bamboo viscose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's pretty soft.
Very soft. I'm sitting there knitting it, and I'm like, I could just sleep with it. But it takes 6 skeins, and I'm on the 4th one right now already. So
it's a really simple knit if you look at the pattern, but you know that makes for some enjoyable TV knitting. But it's got a good drape. This is knit on a size what? 13?
Yeah, 13.
13, which is a something millimeter. But yeah.
It's so soft. I love it. I'm like, it's the perfect time to.
And it's super light.
Yeah.
It's not heavy.
Yeah. But you wouldn't think it's October today because it was hot out, except now it's raining. But
yeah.
I can't. It's gonna get cold soon, and I'm gonna just. I'm gonna sit there watching TV on the couch, and I'm gonna want to wear it. But I'm super excited. So I was telling someone yesterday, I was like, it's kind of bittersweet because I've wanted this for so long, and it's getting done, and it's I'm like, man, it's going too fast, I want to spend more time on it kind of thing, but I'm also super excited that it's getting done, so I'll have it. But, so there's that, and then I'm still working slowly but surely on my boomerang. That's all messed up, crinkled, but, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she's doing the stockinette version.
Yeah. I like the look of the stockinette better.
Me too.
And I don't know the proper term, but garter is more thick.
Yeah, it's cushier, right?
Yeah.
But it also will decrease the size of your finished object as well. Mm-hmm. So if you're using just a skein of yarn, you're going to get a slightly bigger object if you do it in stockinette.
Yeah. So that's all I'm doing.
Awesome. And she does not know the dyer of that yarn. It was gifted. And she lost the tag, excuse me. Alright, for me, what's first for me is a test knit, which the pattern is either out or will be out very soon. It is by Corey Eichelberger, who goes by iRock Knits, and she also has a podcast on YouTube, which is very informative. And she had a wildly successful simple pattern called Knitting at the Library Cowl. And it's done with mini skeins, and when you turn it on its side, it's supposed to look like stacked books. And the original one was done all in textured stitches. Well, she's doing a Knitting at the Library Part 2 cowl, which is lace. And so I've been test knitting it, as in I wanted to knit it as a sample because she used some of our mini skeins for this version. And it's going. I've gotten off, and I'm not one to rip back, especially since I'm not officially test knitting, so, it's loosely based on the pattern, but I'm using one of our Showstopper gradient sets in the, what is this one called? Brocade Dresses and Fancy Jewels. So I've got 4 of the 6 colors in here. So it'll block out better when it's done, but this second section I think is kind of all off. But you get the point that it's lace, and I'm doing some feather and fan here, and I'm almost done with this third section. There's 5 total sections, and then I do this seed stitch border again, and I'll go back to the kind of champagne buttered color here. So I'm enjoying it. I find it's better to not do it when I'm tired in the car and it's dark out, knitting on a dark yarn, even though I have a hug light, which is like my favorite thing in the world for travel knitting. But this is knit on a size 4 US, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. So that's going. We'll see how much progress I get done on that. And then, sorry. Where's my
Rainy
other
Sundays.
one? And then I have a sock that I work on. I usually work on a sock blank sock while I'm vending. And I don't think I showed you this one last episode. I think I forgot. But I had Andy pick out a sock blank and a contrasting mini skein for cuffs, heels, and toes. And boy, did he pick outside of his color palette. But he's excited for them. I'm calling them my Monster Mash socks because it's October and it kind of reminds me of the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
But I did finish the first sock, and so I'm trying to put it on a blocker so you can see it here. And so all of our sock blanks are one of a kind, so I don't even remember what this one was named, but the contrasting cuff heel toe is in the True Love colorway. So
I think they're cute though.
yeah, he'll wear them. He doesn't care. And socks are the...
Real men wear pink and purple and...
He picked it out, so... But he you know, he's like, either wear them in shoes or around the house, and he's like, he likes knitted socks. The occasional hat, but knitted socks are his jam, so...
Makes you think of Barney, too.
A little bit of Barney. A little bit of Barney. But yeah, so finished the first one of that. I haven't even started on the second one, but those will be started here coming next week. When we're on the road, actually, Mandy is going to be traveling with me next week, but I'll go over that a little bit later on in the show. Andy's going to stay home and try to get some more yarn dyed. Who would have thunk that we need more yarn dyed? Alright, I cast on a hat. I've been meaning to cast on this hat with my remainder of some Plucky Knitter Halo Worsted, which is 100% cashmere, that I knit the wrap for Andy's mom for earlier this year. I picked up the yarn at Stitches West. And as pricey as this yarn is, I was going to use every last scrap of it. So I picked up the remainders of the Halo Worsted. This is Pure Michigan, and this is Be Steel My Heart. And I wanted to do just a folded brim ribbed watch cap for myself for the winter because it is cashmere, and so I got it started. This is 2x2 by Ann G on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. It's a worsted weight pattern. You literally do 2x2 ribbing until you decrease for the crown. So, yeah, there's 100% cashmere for you. And I've realized, again, it depends on how it's milled and spun, but it is soft. And so I thought, be nice to have around my head. So I'm going to do this blue until it runs out, thinking that it'll do the folded part, and then the gray will be the main body of the hat. So that's something simple that I can work on the road. Hopefully that'll be done next episode. And then yesterday I cast on for a new project. And it's right here. Remind me to show the bag later in stash acquisitions because I don't think I added it to the show notes. But I cast on a boomerang. I have not done a boomerang in a really long time. And I went through my stash of things that I purchased from my local yarn store, and I purchased this yarn, which is some Regia Design Line by Arnie and Carlos in the Summer Nights colorway. It's been very popular, especially since Susan B. Anderson used it, and I really, really liked the design of this. So I bought 2 skeins to knit socks. Well, then the Regia Perfect came out, where it has the leader yarn, so you can exactly match your socks by following the leader yarn. And so I bought a skein of Perfect in this color it already has built in a white for the heel and toe and maybe the cuff too. So I was like, I don't need 2 pairs of socks out of this color. And I was going to gift this to Mandy, but who knows when she's going to get to socks. So I started a boomerang because I had seen a hitchhiker done online with longer color repeated yarn. And so we'll see how this turns out. It may turn into a hot mess because it's going to lose its striping effect soon, but anyway, this is how far I got at knitting yesterday. We went to Open Knitting to drop off some yarn and hang out. And so there it is. I'm doing, again, the stockinette version of my boomerang recipe, and this is knit on a size 6 US 4mm needle. So. And that's it. I have not finished a row in my granny square blanket, so I did not bring that to show. So we can move on to what's in rehearsal. For me, I'm just going to finish some projects. I thought about seeing what was going to be next after the hat, but we'll wait and see. So, do you have any plans when you finish your bias wrap, what you're going to work on?
Well, my next one is going to be, hopefully, the boxy sweater that I got at SSK, but I'm thinking I'm going to, like, I think part of it is, like, my nerves of doing a sweater, but I think I'm gonna wait a week or two, like, once I'm done knitting that, and focus on, because you're really good about doing all your crafts, like, finding time, but I struggle because I get so into one thing that's all I want to do. So I think I'm gonna just take a week or two. I'll still knit on my boomerang, but I want to focus on my cross stitch.
Cool.
So.
And when you get ready to start the boxy, I would email Laura from the Knit Girls, because she's knit one or two, and she knows about how to measure to fit it for you better. So I might be like, hey, I'm going to cast on. Can I get some hints? And she'll definitely do that for you. All right, let's move on to behind the scenes, my spinning. I still have it on my desk because it's connected. I'm spinning a loop bump in the Cryptic colorway. It's a 6-ounce bat. And I'm probably at least 2/3 of the way through it. It's 6 ounces, and I'm going to chain ply it so that it will keep the natural gradient and color blocking that happens in the bullseye bumps. But it's kind of hard to show, so I'll show it to you when it's done. We'll see. I may not have much done because we're going to be out of town so much, and I don't take it on the road with me. So, all right, in the scene shop, other crafting. Let me show you my cross stitching. I'm doing a dimensions kit called In the Moment, and I switched out the 14 count Aida for. Sorry, I got caught here. I had issues with this last time. It just got stuck under the shelf here. I have so much yarn, it's falling off these shelves. What?
Did he just admit that he has so much yarn?
Yeah.
What?
I do. So I finished the word life since we last spoke, and I finished some of the accent details here on the side, and I just started backstitching just the slightest bit this morning, which is my favorite part. I'm not a huge backstitch fan, but so yeah, working on it slow but sure. So once I finish the backstitch, then I'll move on the word life, then I'll move up to live up here, and that's the last part, and then that'll be done. Finally, I've been doing some weaving, and I may warp my loom, my 15-inch Cricut. My stand did show up finally in the last 2 weeks, and Andy set that up for me. So I literally can just turn in this chair when I'm in front of my desk and do all my crafting, and it's glorious. And so I finished weaving a scarf using some yarn that I picked up on clearance at a local yarn store. I believe it is the Classic Elite Soft Linen, which is like a cotton linen silk blend or silk linen blend. And I soaked it and I blocked it over a hanger because it's super long, but I'm happy with it. Are there mistakes? Yes. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm getting better, my tension's getting better, and my whole point is kind of to offer something else in the online shop when we're on the road. So this is 1/4 of its length, and again, it probably could be dealt to be ironed. I did, hang it, but is what it is. So this is 1/4 of its length. This is 1/2 of its length. And here it is as a scarf. But I'm kind of happy with the texture of it and the drape. So I used 2 colors. I used this kind of soft gray and this Cabernet color. And as you can see, I warped it in thinking I was going to do kind of a medium, small, big, small, medium, and then I ran out of yarn. But it's a nice width, and I used 2 skeins of this soft pink as my weft, which is what goes back and forth, and they're 50-gram balls. So in all, this used 200 grams of yarn, and yeah, so I'm super happy with this. This is going to be on the road with us as we travel, and eventually it'll be up in the online shop. It's got just a little bit of fringe there, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I like the colors.
You were supposed to weave with me too.
Sorry, I like to do one thing at a time.
You should work. You should play with it while we're gone for 3 weeks.
Except I saw a video on Instagram. Some girl was weaving like an acorn. Because you know how we did
Tapestry weaving at SSK.
Yeah. It was she like. I don't know. It looked cool.
All right. So that's it for me and my other crafting endeavors. Nothing really else. What are you working on?
That's a problem. I'm not working on it enough. My Colorful Cow by Artiste, I believe. It still looks like nothing because I'm doing the white part and you can't.
There you go.
There you go. But yeah, it doesn't look like anything, but well, I'm getting there. That's why I wanna work on it because I really enjoy. I enjoy it. It's just like I'll sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I feel like I've got nothing done. But it's okay.
All right, so let's move into the spotlight. What are we watching and reading? For me, Andy and I are still watching American Horror Story Apocalypse. We have the latest episode to hopefully watch tonight. Depends on football and if he's into it or not. Football, that is. If he's not, then we can watch it. We're still watching The Good Place while we have dinner. We enjoyed that. We're almost done with season 2, and I know season 3 is about to premiere, so but I gotta wait a while before it's on Netflix. I mean, I could watch it on Hulu, but we did watch the first episode of Mindhunter, and we did enjoy that. I know you've watched it, and you really enjoyed it.
The second it came out.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
So we're enjoying it. It's just finding time when we're traveling so much to watch it. And then the 3 of us went to go see Venom on Friday night, and I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable. I'm just not the biggest fan of going to the movies for a multitude of reasons. But it was a good time, and it was nice to get out of the house. And then I finished listening to a book called The Fourth Monkey by J.D. Barker. I had first heard this talked about on Jessie Marie Does Stuff, which is a floss tube, mostly cross-stitch. She does talk about knitting a little bit and books. And it's your kind of typical serial killer cop drama. Jessie Marie did not give it the highest review. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I enjoyed it. It is definitely the first in a series. She felt like the cop characters were a bit too cliched. I mean, they were, but I mean, look at anything on TV too. But I did enjoy the slight twist at the end. I could see a couple of things coming a mile away that were there, but basically, there's a serial killer who leaves first an ear for somebody to be found of a victim, and then their eyes, and then their tongue before they are finally killed. And the person that is killed is somehow acquainted with a criminal that is not known. So whether it be fraud or drugs or sex trafficking, those type of things, they don't kill the actual criminal. The serial killer kills someone related to them, usually a daughter or something. And the book starts off almost like it's picking up in the middle of a series with there being backstory, but it is the first in the series, and so you kind of get the backstory, but then also it's got an intriguing effect of you are given a diary of the killer, and as this this crime is going on. The lead detective is reading the diary as it's going on, so you get bits and pieces of the kid's background, of the serial killer's background from when he was a kid and his parents, and it's a little messed up and interesting. So I enjoyed it. If you enjoy those kinds of books, I would definitely give it a shot. It is The Fourth Monkey by Janie Barker. So, what are you watching and reading?
Still reading Black Dahlia Avenger. Pretty good so far. Guys, another bittersweet moment. I finished the 4th season of Peaky Blinders. Sorry, I'm like reminiscing about everything that happened. So exciting. I can't wait for the next season to come on. It's an amazing show. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, you can ask Mom. She was there. I was watching the final episode and she was there. And at the end of it, I like jumped off the couch and was like applauding, and she's like, "You're weird," and I'm like, "I can't help it." So finished that. Pretty great. What else? Watch Venom. I think I liked it more than you, but I feel like you movie theater got to you more than the movie. Like you didn't.
I didn't feel the. I think my biggest drawback was I didn't feel the chemistry between the actor and Michelle Williams. What's his Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams. So
yeah, that was the part I didn't care for, but I love Tom Hardy. He's amazing. Oh, I watched what do you call them? I guess like teenage rom-coms. Like, what is it called? They're both on Netflix. Oh, the first one, the To the Boy, I don't know what it's called. To the Boys I Loved Before, I don't know. They're like,
they were that good then.
I don't remember. No, that one was really good, but I can't remember what it was called.
Well, how about this? If you remember, you can put them in the show notes.
Sure.
Okay.
The other one was Sierra Burgess is a Loser. That was also really good. They're like the 80s, like 16 Candles, that kind of thing. I guess you call them like teenage rom-coms.
Romantic comedies.
Well, yeah, but they're in high school. They're not like...
No, I understand, but people may not know what a rom-com is. So
sorry.
I'm trying to explain.
But yeah. Those were both good. They had some actors that played in both movies, kind of thing. I think that's it.
Cool. Let's move into stash enhancement. Well, I was good. I was gifted many things over the past couple of weeks. So, first thing I did actually purchase as some market research, legit market research, not market research. And it is a project bag from Whimsy Stitches, and it's one of his clear vinyl bags. And so my boomerang is living in this. It's got this cool red and aqua apple fabric, which I thought was kind of suiting for, September, October, fall. But you can see your project in there. It is a drawstring with a flat bottom, a rectangle flat bottom, a handle that is attached here. So I really, really do like this bag. I was showing Mandy too, even the ends of the ties have been kind of sutured off. And I don't know. I think it's lightweight, and I like using it. So I'm giving it a test run right now. So that was the first thing I picked up. And then... So Andy likes to know, because he's like put the kibosh on me buying yarn, and I'm pretty good about sticking to it for the most part. He likes to then go and shop for yarn for me when he's bored at shows, and then surprisingly gift them to me or randomly leave them around the house for me to find. So he bought a skein of yarn for me at the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool Festival, and then promptly decided to go hide it in the van underneath the seat on my side. And he didn't even just put it on the floor, like he put it up under the seat, like on top of this emergency case and everything. Anyway, I'm getting out of the car and I'm like, what is that under the seat? There's like this little piece of color poking through one of like the open seams under the seat. I'm like, what is that? Because I had lost my like row counter. I was like, is that it? So I was like, what is that? And I pull out this skein. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a skein of yarn. And he's like, well, just pull it out now. He's like, why would you ever look under the seat? Why would you not, And so I found it unintentionally.
So he was trying to hide it.
He was trying to hide it for later.
I was thinking he was like hiding it so that you'd find it.
No, so he was just like really, literally like the 10-minute drive home, and he's like, you found it. So he picked up a skein of self-striping yarn from Mint Rain Hand Dyed Yarns, who is out of Michigan, and he liked the colors. Hint, hint, he probably wants a pair of socks. And this is in the Eagles colorway, and it is the 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon, 463 yards. So it looks like it stripes with a very, very soft gray, a dark gray, and then a teal. And then the sisters behind Mint Rain and Anomalous Mind, who I've mentioned before, they've been very generous to the podcast, donated some items for future giveaways and things of that nature. And so Mint Rain donated a new colorway for her on her soft sock, which is 100% Superwash Merino, 490 yards. It's a variegated in the Grudgingly Adulting colorway. So this is going to be a future giveaway here in the next couple of episodes. And then her sister, who is Anomalous Mind on Etsy, she does project bags along with some hand-dyed yarn, and she donated this project bag as well. And it's one of those soft ones you can just kind of scrunch up. It's just got a plain white lining, so you can easily throw this into another bag. But thank you, ladies, so very, very much. I appreciate that. We do, both of us, for the podcast, doing prizes. And then Mint Rain also gave me a mini skein she thought I would like from her new colorway in her Christmas collection. And this is in the Krampus colorway, so this is going to go into my sock yarn blanket. But this is a dark gray with speckles of some brown, red, and green. And yeah, so I thought that was really cool, so thank you. I picked up a mini skein from my girls at Black Cat, Antoinette and Anna, who were right next to us. We are pretty much always right next to each other now at Stitches events, but they were at the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool. And this one, I think they called Rorschach. I'm not for certain. They don't tag their minis. I was like, girls, you need to tag them. But it's just a white with black speckles. I had them literally blindfold themselves and grab one off their shelf. So that one's going into the blanket. And then we had a viewer drive down to the Lamb and Wool Festival all the way from Canada. And she begrudgingly dragged her husband and son. No, they actually wanted to come with. But she came down to see us in person, and she brought some donations. So there's going to be things that are going to be given away over the next several episodes that she brought. But she also let Mandy and I have free range. There was one thing in specific she had for Mandy, and she'll show that off here in a minute. But she said, go through, pick what you want, and then give away the rest. There was one Lucca needle in there and a size 7, so I grabbed that so that I can try that here in the future, since I've never really tried their needles. I've been looking at getting another interchangeable set of this brand, and I figured maybe I should probably try one before I purchase a whole complete interchangeable set. And then she had a whole bunch of books, but she also had all 3 Rib magazines, which is no longer in publishing, I believe. It was pretty quick started and stopped. I wish they would have kept going with it, but it is a magazine published for men who knit and the knitters who knit for men. And so all the designs were geared for men or unisex. And so I showed you, I had picked up number 2. Earlier this year in Grand Rapids, and so she had number 2, but that's going to be given away because there was another one in there. I didn't need 2, but I did pick up number 1 and number 3, and they all come with download codes, and I already downloaded them to Ravelry, and picked out what patterns I wanted to knit out of them. 1 and 3 only had 6 patterns, and I believe number 2 had 8. There was a lot of sweaters I really liked in number 2. But there was a couple things I really liked in here. A few things I was like, eh. So I liked these Urban Aaron mitts. This is from issue 1. I did not purchase into this simply because I saw the cover of the first one and I did not like the look of that sweater on that model in that pose. Now, that being said, when I finally got to look into the magazine, I realized it's a simple pullover. It's the Patina pullover by Hannah Fettig. And I actually like how close the collar is on this. But it looks much better in the... Like, I would have used that photo. Do you see what I'm saying there? Like, it looks like it fits in better in this photo than the one on the cover. There's a dragon moss pillow. There's a hat and cowl, Metropolitan hat and cowl by Mina Phillip of Knitting Expat Designs. And there's another sweater I didn't really care for.
You don't like
But yeah. And then this next one, number 3, I mean, they do have a nice quality. You can feel it in the covers here. There was a couple things I liked out of them. I did not care for the cover sweater, which is the Alchemy pullover, only because I do not look good personally in a top-down colorwork raglan. I look like a prize-winning racehorse with a wreath around my neck. I've knit a Jared Flood pattern and learned the hard way. Do I still wear it? Sure, but I have very broad shoulders, so... this one... I think is double knit, or is it in the round? I don't think I cued this pattern, but I think it's actually knit in the round. And then twisted, and you graft the two ends together, so it's not double knit, but it is a 2-color. I don't know, maybe someday. Did not care for this scarf, really. I did like this sweater. This is the Protean pullover by Fiona Ellis, and you can see the cable work on it. And here's the front detail there. I did enjoy that pullover, so I did cue that one. And I cued these socks, which are the Tetrahedron socks by Amy Meeks. And I don't know if I did the Revolution watch cap by Cecilia Campochiaro. Sorry. I did not intend on doing a flip through of this book, but there's a thing on here on sequence knitting, and they have essays from men on why they knit. This one in this issue has by Jared Flood. There's the chemistry of color and a bit about home dyeing with natural dyes. Yeah, I really wish they could have kept going with this. I mean, I understand how much it goes into making this, but yeah. So, thank you so much, Jan, for donating and gifting. I put some things to use. And then, last but not least, our fairy yarn mother, who wishes to remain anonymous, sends us a lot of prizes and things that she finds in her stash, or acquisitions that she's like, you know what, I need to be realistic, and I'm either never going to use this, or I haven't used it yet, so it needs to go to a new home. And she sent it this way too, be either for us or a donation, and I saw it and said, well, it's going to live in my stash for a while, because I'm not at her level of moving on with it yet. I fully admit that. But this is an older, I've seen the book, I have not seen, I had something else, and yeah, I can see it here, I think, the little box of socks. No, maybe I gave it up, because I think it was Toe Up from Wendy Johnson. Yeah. But this is the little box of socks by Charlene Church and Beth Parrott. And it's a magnetic cardboard box, looks like a book. And then it has these little pattern pamphlets. And so I was like, you know what? I went through and I queued which ones I thought I would like. The pictures on Ravelry are not great. I would highly look at these before you go through them. But they're all top down, which I really like, and in a variety of weights. I don't think I queued the heavier weight ones, but definitely thought it was neat. So, easy to put on the go, take and put in your bag, and, challenge myself to do some easier socks, but not all just stockinette. So there are, does it say? 20 creative sock projects. Some of them not going to happen. Other ones, sure, I really like. Yeah. Like if you look on the back, the 3rd and 5th sock are never going to be me. But the other 3 I do. So maybe we'll get this one on the sock knitting. You said that about a sweater. Now that's going to be the next thing you cast on.
You never know.
That is a colorway that we dye. Yes. All right. That's it for me for stash enhancement. What you got, girl?
I actually have something.
You do.
Thanks to Jan. This is the Acme Fibers Bamberino. It's 70% merino superwash, 20% bamboo, and 10% nylon. And it's hand dyed in a random color. That's what it says. Color with a U. They're fancy over in Canada. But yeah, y'all know me well with the natural colors. That's what I love. But it's really cute. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, because this girl can only have one project at a time in her mind. But thank you so much. I never have stash enhancement. So thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how perfect that color is for you.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, let's keep going. So we need to move into our giveaway for this episode. While Andy and I were at the Knit for Fun retreat hosted by Ann Budd, we got to meet the other vendors there, and one of the new vendors I got to meet was Heather, behind So Happy Jane. She is a vocal teacher, a music teacher, and she used to have a sewing shop, or like sewn goods, and she moved into dyeing yarn, and I really liked her aesthetic and her colors, and while I really wanted to get like 1 or 2 different kits from her, I was good, but she did generously donate a skein for you all to get your hands on, so one of you is going to win this. This is in her Bouncy Fingering, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 463 yards, but this is the higher twist base than what our showstopper is. And this is in the Agate Beach colorway, which is absolutely stunning. And she said there was a background color or a background story behind this, and she obviously is very busy with life, and she never got around to emailing it to me. So, fun if you know the story. But yeah, so she was super nice and donated this. So to be entered to win this skein, you must be a member of the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. You need to post a response to our prompt, which is, what is your favorite item from Heather's shop, So Happy Jane, which I've linked to already in the thread on Ravelry. And all posts must be entered before we pull for a winner. I put on there, I believe, Monday the 22nd of October. It may be another 2 weeks after that. So I'll quickly address, but thank you so much, Heather. Go ahead and enter for that. We may record in 2 weeks, but depending on how crazy life is, we may not record for a month. And that's simply because I am going to be all over the country, literally all over the country this month. From New York one weekend back to Illinois, which I'll be home for 2 days, and that's where we may record. But I need to dye as much as I can in 2 days, so that we can then drive to North Carolina for SAF. And then we're driving straight from North Carolina to Southern California, Pasadena for Stitches SoCal. And what we dye in those 2 days, hopefully we'll figure out how Mandy can ship that to us in California. So we're going to see how those 2 days go, and if we can get the time to record, we will. If not, that prize thread will be up until we record the next time. So I got it, he knows. All right. Let's move into, I'm going to have you hold this because there's a lot of winners we need to announce here really quickly. Oh, so last episode, before I get to that thing, last episode our giveaway was for a book called Scarf Style. And this is by Pam Allen for Interweave Knits. And we didn't have a whole lot of entries for this. I think we had 17 people enter. So random.org chose number 11, who is Kitten Whiplash on Ravelry. She did not have her name or location. And our prompt last episode was, what qualities do you value most in a friend? And I thought this was interesting because it wasn't just, a quick response from Kitten Whiplash. And I feel like a lot of us can maybe relate to her response. So I wanted to read it to you as I usually do. She said, I appear to be the kind of person that people feel free to tell their problems to and expect assistance, whether it's help moving or help paying bills or help finding or losing a mate, no matter how slightly we are acquainted. On the other hand, I have found that having a problem of my own can clear a room faster than a stink bomb. The ones that stay in that stinky room, those are friends. So, I don't know. I feel like some of us have personalities that people can immediately open up to and kind of voice their, problems to. And obviously Kitten Whiplash feels like that. But, then when you have a problem of your own, they just leave or pretend not to hear it or just ignore it. And I feel like we all feel that way sometimes. I know I do on occasion. So, the ones that are still hanging around you with all your faults and your issues and your problems, those are true friends, right? And she left a little edited to announce a little comment. She said, while the above statement could be interpreted to mean I value sinus problems above all other attributes in a friend, that was not my intention. So kudos, my friend Kitten Whiplash, for that side comment. I really appreciated that. So congratulations. Please email me on Ravelry, Dramatic Knits, with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address, and I will get that book out to you as soon as I can when I'm home. Alright, so if you're a longtime viewer, you know that you've been waiting because it's actually a little late this year, but I just got the email this week. Operation Chemo Comfort, their hat drive knit along is going. We have already posted to Ravelry. Some of you have been waiting all year for this and have posted, but we do this now. This is our third year of doing working with Operation Chemo Comfort for their fall hat drive. And if you do not know, Operation Chemo Comfort is connected with the Froedtert Cancer Research Hospital up in Wisconsin. And they are a group of hospital workers who collaborate and work together in order to do this hat drive to get head coverings for cancer patients, so that every new cancer patient, which unfortunately there are a lot of them throughout the year, gets a goodie bag, a welcome, package that contains some sort of head covering as well as other essentials that someone new with cancer might need or find useful. And so, of course, knitters, it doesn't have to be knitted hats, but it can be crocheted, sewn headscarves. Their website has a lot more details. But, of course, knitted hats are a great attribute. And it's something near and dear. I've enjoyed working with this for the last 2 years. And so we are going to do this knit along again. Now, it's going to be rather quick. We have just over a month. But all hats that you either knit or pull from your previously knitted items do need to be mailed off to the Operation Chemo Comfort address by November 15th. So there are 2 threads up in our Ravelry group right now. One is a chatter thread to ask questions, get ideas, share pattern ideas. And the first post, I have listed all the information you need to know. There is no requirements on yarn. Whether it's superwash or not is up to you. They do ask that you include a tag with care instructions and a little personal note if you'd like. It's, it'd be appreciated. It does not need to happen. They will still accept the hats. Trust me, I know, because last year I got too busy and couldn't do all my hats. They have some pattern recommendations there. The address is listed where you need to ship them. All that is on the thread. There's also an FO thread, which is no chatter, only pictures of hats that are going to be sent. Now, this is on the honor system. There is no way for me to actually check. But You do need to post a picture of each hat separately in its own post to be entered for drawings. And what we're going to do for the past 2 years is what we're going to do again this year. This is our biggest prize palooza of the year. And we start off with one prize, and then for each 25 hats that are donated after that, we add an additional prize. So I think last year we had like 9 or 13 prizes we gave out. It was amazing. We had over 250 hats donated in the name of Dramatic Knits, and we'll see what we can get this year. We're already over 25 hats, and I just posted the thread about 2 or 3 days ago. So does not have to be, you do not have to cast on and knit the hat now. You could pull from your stash of knitted hats that you don't wear or don't get the love that you wish they would, pass them on to someone who's unfortunately suffering from cancer, and let them get the warmth and love that you put into that knitted object. If you have any questions, please email me, Dramatic Knits, or please read the prompt or the thread on Ravelry and go to their website. Andy dropped something downstairs. All right, last month was September. We're now in October. Crazy, who would have thunk it? So the September Race to the Finished Object contest has come to a close, and we have prizes. So if you're unfamiliar, our Race to the Finished Object contest is just for you, a push, a motivator for people to try to finish things by the end of the month so they can enter it into this thread and get eligible for prizes. It's that simple. So I pulled from our newly acquired donations a book as this month's physical prize, and the book is a hefty one. It is Ultimate Mittens 28 Classic Patterns to Keep You Warm by Robin Hanson, since we are getting into that time of year. This is a hardcover book, and it is from Down East Books, Magazines, and Online. It is... I'm trying to see when it's copyrighted. Copyright 2011, so there's that. But this will be going to this month's winner, and the first prize for the book was drawn number 170, which is Rock Knit, and that is Pam from Rochester, New York. Congratulations, Pam. She knit a Halloween houndstooth cowl. So congratulations, Pam. If you would please email me, Dramatic Knits, again with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking, and I will get this book off to you as soon as I can when I'm home. The second prize is a pattern from our featured designer, who is Corrado Lark. He is also known as Corrado Lark on YouTube, and he has graciously agreed to be our featured designer. He will be featured through next month, the month of October. This winner was number 219, Ginger Bedell, and that is Ginger from Jeffersonville, Vermont, and she knit a pair of vanilla socks. So congratulations, Ginger. If you would please look at Corrado's patterns on Ravelry. I have all his pattern page linked on our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com, and let me know which one of Corrado's giftable patterns on Ravelry you would like. I will let him know, and he will gift it to you. So congratulations to Pam and Ginger, and thank you for everyone for showcasing what they finished last month in the month of September. If you have not done so and you finished something this month, go ahead and post pictures to our October 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest. Again, we will pull a wonderful prize from our donations in this closet behind us, as well as a pattern from our featured designer, and again, next month will be Corrado. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything to add before we move into center stage?
Nada.
All right. So center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. I'm going to be really quick with this per usual. Our colorway of the month is up. I showed it last episode. Pre-orders are up for that right now, and they will be up through tomorrow. Spiced apple cider, and it's gotten a lot of love online and at the local yarn stores that get our monthly subscriptions. And so can't wait to see some knitted objects with that. I am going to be coming up with next month's color tomorrow, because I have to get on it since we're not going to be home for most of this month. And I already have a name picked out. Mandy's been using this phrase a lot over the past month, and so I think that's what we're going to call November's colorway of the month. And she's like, all right, quickly to touch on the retreat. The LMFA retreat, also known as Knitting at the Estate, or KATE. we do have the website up and running. It is knittingattheestate.com. I did work on the website, and pretty much everything you're going to need to know other than the price and the teachers is up there as of right now. So dates are listed out there, a timeline of payment scheduling, a timeline of the actual retreat and anticipated schedule is up there. What will be included in the retreat is up there. But we are working on getting the final touches done on figuring out the price, which is going to then figure, from there we can then get contracts out to teachers. We have been in contact with both of our teachers. We just want to get contracts out to them and then back in hand before we announce those. So you can check out more information at knittingattheestate.com. But basically the highlights are, it is September 19th through 22nd, 2019 in Monticello, Illinois at the Allerton Park and Retreat Center. And there will be 75 spots for attendees, and then an additional 5 people for Mandy, Andy, and myself, as well as the 2 teachers. And there will be 50 spots that will be staying on location, and there will be 25 spots which will be off-site, and you will be booking your own lodging, and pricing will be according to that. There will also be 2 different pricings on-site. I believe there are 26 single occupancy rooms and 24 double occupancy rooms. And you can also sign up for the Leading Men Fiber Arts newsletter. While you'll get a multitude of things coming to that newsletter, but I will also be giving out more information about the retreat as it comes out. And then I want to talk to you about upcoming shows. So this coming weekend, Amanda and I are going to be going to Ashland, Ohio to the Autumn Fiber Festival. This is our first time attending this event, and we are a sponsor there, and we're excited to be there. So if you're in the Ashland, Ohio area, please come out and visit us. We're super excited. I am excited to get out there and see the area, and I think it's going to be beautiful with the leaves changing and all that jazz. So and to get some sister time in, like I said, we just thought it'd be better for Andy to stay home and get a couple more days of dying in rather than both of us being gone. So that is going to be Saturday, October 13th. And then the following weekend, on Friday, October 19th, is Indie Untangled, which super excited but super nervous about. And that is going to be in Saugerties, New York, which is about an hour away from Rhinebeck. It is the night before Rhinebeck proper starts. If you have not purchased tickets, unfortunately, I believe most of those have sold out. I do know that they did have a vendor drop out, and rather than replacing it with another vendor, they have added like 20 more spots for each of the time spots. So definitely Google search Indie Untangled and check it out. I'm not sure if they've released those or not, or if those are going to be tonight or in the next couple of days. But basically, if you do not have a ticket, you cannot get in. They are trying something new in hopes that it'll be a better shopping experience for people. I've heard it's been kind of horrific, especially last year. So hopefully it'll be a better marketplace this year due to that. If you are going and you do have a ticket, I've been asked to make it clear that your time slot is your time slot. So you've purchased a ticket, either most of tickets are for 2 hours. The last venue, or the last, is an hour. But once your time slot is over, your ticket slot, the venue will be cleared before the next time slot opens. So if you have like the 1 to 3 spot at 3 o'clock, you have to make your purchase and go. You cannot stay and linger or check out another vendor. They are going to be clearing the floor before they open the doors for the next group of ticket holders.
That's intense.
Yeah. So we are only bringing fingering weight bases to Indie Untangled, and we will not have all of them. Basically, we're bringing like, I think 7 or 8 different bases, and then our ground pepper sweater kits. We are doing a metric butt ton of ground pepper sweater kits prepping for this. I'm trying to get like 4 done a day, so that there are a wide range of color options, and that they will be kits throughout the whole entire day of Indie Untangled, as well as moving on to SAF and SoCo. So, if I do not get time to record, the following weekend we will be at the SAF Southern Animal Fiber Festival, Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival, in Ashland. No. What's in North Carolina? where the Vanderbilt mansion is. I think it's Asheville, North Carolina. First time vending there, so we're super excited to be there. If you're going to be at SAF, come say hi. I hear it's a great market. And then the following weekend, we'll be in Pasadena, California, and we're excited about that as well. So, yeah. If you have not done so, please follow us, Leading Men Fiber Arts, on Instagram and Ravelry and Facebook. And if you have not signed up for our newsletter, you can do so either by visiting our website and scrolling all the way down, or you can click on the newsletter link on our Facebook page as well. And we'd love for you to join our Dramatic Knits Ravelry group as well, if you have not done so. And I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can find this one as Dramatic Mandy on Ravelry, Dramatic Knits. And until we see you in about 2 to 4 weeks, we hope you
knit something
dramatic.